Sean, these have been unusual times, I
Yeah.
have to say. I think being, a Las Vegan, I think we've forgotten a few things. One, I've forgotten how to laugh. Okay. I spend my whole day in my house. Two, I've almost forgotten that we are the entertainment capital of the world. But
Yeah.
ha,
hmm
this morning, we're going to remind you.
Absolutely. No question. He is an absolute legend. He is Rich Little. He is joining us now, and he's the only performer in Vegas. He's the only headliner. How are you, Rich? It's good to see you.
Fine. I'm doing great. It's great to be back at work. I'm back at the Tropicana doing 4 nights a week, and it's great. Not many performers are working these days, and I'm very privileged.
Yeah,
So I'm just delighted to be
Well, I
back
tell
at work.
you, it's been rough. Yeah, you're on stage there at the Laugh Factory Thursday through Sunday nights, doing this what is really a one man show, correct?
Yeah, yeah, and people don't need to worry about coming out and seeing me because they're all spaced apart and they're all wearing masks and they're 25 feet from me. So it's very strange to be performing with nobody in front of you, and then
no
all
kidding.
these people back worrying. And even when they laugh, you can't hear them that well. So it's kind of tough to perform, but you appreciate them being there, so you just do it anyway. But it's not like it used to be.
No, of course not. It
Mm,
really is.
mm.
But it's interesting times. I mean, you've seen a lot in your career. I don't think you've ever seen anything like this before. But they say that comedy is tragedy plus time. This is kind of we've had the tragedy of the past year or so. Here you are performing now. Is it fun having obviously having people in front of you, but to create some sort of material that can bounce off of what we've all been through the past year?
Yeah, well, I don't talk about the COVID at all, but and I do a little bit of political satire, but I'm not really a political satirist. I'm I tell jokes, and some of them are about Biden, and some of them are about you know Trump, and I try and even it out as best I
Good.
can because
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Nice.
wise comedian to tell the audience what his political views are
Yeah.
because uh, you'll anger about a quarter or half of your audience, if you do. So I'm like Johnny
Certainly.
Carson. You never knew Johnny Carson. You never knew whether Johnny Carson was a liberal or a conservative because he just after everybody. Ah,
Yes.
Yes. And
Equal opportunity offender. That's the way to be.
there is an art to walking right there in the middle. Speaking of Johnny Carson, I was on YouTube this morning watching just one of your many, many, many appearances on Johnny
Yeah.
Carson. But I mean, the people you've met in your career, Rich, I just find you so fascinating. You're like a bridge because you've been in the business so long, like Donnie and Marie Osmond, who you opened for once upon a time in Las Vegas. You
sure.
knew Hollywood when it was old Hollywood, and then here you are just killing it live on stage. We understand that you almost made it to Broadway this year.
A couple of years ago, I did a one-man show on Jimmy Stewart, and I thought it was a pretty good show. I did about 30 impressions in it,
Wow.
and we were aiming for Broadway, but we never could come up with the money, and it kind of fizzled out, and I never went. But it was a great experience. I did the show well, it was back at the Hilton back then,
hmm
and it was pretty good, but didn't make it to Broadway.
I'm assuming that audiences. I mean, obviously, you had a third of the audience that would typically fill a room over there at the Laugh Factory. But I'm assuming the audiences are really hungry to laugh again. I mean,
They
there's got
are.
to be. I'm a huge fan of comedy, and I can only imagine how amped up and revved up they are to have something to laugh at and laugh with.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the voices that I'm known for, um, people want to hear, and
hmm
I do some new ones, and try and reach a younger audience because a lot of the young people that come and see my show, they don't know any of the people I'm impersonating.
Yeah.
If you're under 30, They don't know who Johnny Carson is. They don't know who Dean Martin is, or Ronald Reagan, or John Wayne, or Jimmy Stewart. They have no idea who I'm impersonating. And if that's the case, they have to laugh at the humor and
Yeah.
not the impression, you know?
Yeah. Well, Dean Martin's that road you
Yes.
drive on, isn't it?
Because young people today, they don't know what a record player is. They don't know what a telephone is, you know?
Put a rotary phone in front of a millennial. They're going to have a real tough time.
They don't know what a record
Oh my
is.
gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking
Amazing.
of all those people that you just mentioned, Rich, and I know your friendships are. I mean, I wish we could have you on the whole hour and just ask you about folks. But Dean Martin in particular, I know there's still a lot of people who are very passionate about the Rat Pack watching this show right now. Do you have any anecdote that you remember about Dean that you'd like to share?
Dean didn't like to rehearse. He, was like, well, he was like Frank Sinatra. He didn't want to rehearse and
Yeah.
never looked at the cue cards. And but a great comedian, but and he told a lot of corny jokes. But even though they were corny, they were funny. He would say things like, when I was 20 years old, I spent $20,000 to get my nose straightened. What a waste of money that was. It was just my tie was crooked.
See, half of it's the delivery, though. The delivery is what makes it. It can take a pretty crummy joke and make it fantastic. Before we go, a couple things. You're not just an impressionist and an artist as well. You've been doing your own sketches and drawings. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I've been doing sketches of portraits of famous people since I was about 15 years old, and I've done hundreds of them over the years.
Wow.
And I use them in my show too. Every time I
neat.
impersonate someone, I show a picture of them that I've drawn. And now, and I know you're going to find this strange, but now I found a way to make the pictures talk.
Oh no.
Some of my, yeah, and in other words, I'll show a picture of say Jack Nicholson, and the mouth will start to move on the picture,
Sure.
and I can talk to myself. So the impression is all recorded, and I have the actual picture talk, and it's kind of unusual to see it, but it works.
That's awesome.
Sony, you could see a lot of those sketches on your personal
Sure do.
website, Rich, which I was on this morning. I also ordered your book on Amazon, sir. People I've Known and Been, available on Amazon. Of course, I am going to come by and have you sign that someday at the Trop, okay?
Oh, really? How exciting!
He's like, okay,
Oh,
how are you going to manage to get past security? Rich, it's great getting a chance to talk to you with my friend. We got to make sure people go see your show over Trop, and it's great seeing you, my friend.
Okay, well, it's good to talk to you both. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me on.
Of course, and
Appreciate it.
absolutely, it's our honor. Laugh Factory Comedy Club over at Tropicana. You can go see Rich Little for yourself Thursday through Sunday, 6:30 p.m. They're doing the social distancing. You're going to see Rich over there. You're going to see some people over there, but not right next to you. You're going to be fun. You want a good laugh? Go to the website or call the number you see right there on your screen.